welcome to my video. In this video I'm going to be talking about me using a tile window manager, but I'm floating everything right now because I like to use float mode, but I personally will probably change that later on. So this is basically a configuration that I stole from somewhere on the internet, and I basically really modified it a lot for my usage. Like, I don't need all this fancy stuff. I keep it really simple, but I basically combine themes that I like Tokyo night theme, so I basically kind of just blend this all in pretty good. As you can see, I'm using the KDE terminal, and I customize it to my liking. And I'm sure people are going to be asking me how I done this whole entire setup, and they're going to probably want all my dot files. Well, I will figure that out later on to share all this stuff, but as of right now, I'm just playing around with it. So this is basically what I've done so far with the system. Actually quite having a lot of fun with this. I'm not sure why my volume is 50%. I'm not even sure. Yeah, my volume on the keyboard does not work. It works with KDE, but for some reason this is not working. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. But it's working really well. I do like Hyprland, though I still prefer KDE over this window manager. But I do like the thing that it's like the power button here. If I click on it, it will basically log out of Hyprland, and I'll go back to SDDM. And this little Arch start menu, I got it to run this D menu kind of thing, or D run, or whatever it's called. It's a run command thing. So that, and then you got your workspace here. Second workspace, I got my OBS. So if I go to workspace 3, so basically I'm using the XFCE 4 file manager, because if I load up Dolphin, for example, it looks like this. So I mean, you can change I know you can change the environment and all that, but it really does it really depends on GTK theme, GTK toolkit. Because if you load up any application that runs GTK toolkit, it will basically show it properly. Now, people argue, like they say, oh, you're using GNOME on Arch Linux, you're using KDE on Arch Linux. Well, people don't realize that your window managers depend on these toolkits that these desktop environments create, such as GTK and Qt toolkits. So without these desktop environments, your window manager would not have any toolkit. You would have to do your own toolkit instead of stealing the desktop environment toolkits. And I know a lot of the applications depends on these toolkits as well, but I'm just saying, to say oh, you're using GTK, you're using GNOME. Well, you're using part of GNOME stuff in your window managers. So stop giving users just stop giving them grief, man. Let people use the computer the way they want to. As I can show you right here, I can definitely write the system up pretty well. This is me just doing it in one day, spend a few hours on it, and this is my results. So it's really easy to write anything nowadays. I never used Hyprland. I used it a little bit in the past, but this is basically the first time I ever used Hyprland, and I can write my own stuff and set up things really well, because I also have a lot of experience in writing tile window managers in the past, and I have used a lot of tile window managers in the past, but I still prefer KDE. But on this video here, I'm just showing an example that I can do stuff with tile window managers, and I don't really care too much for it? I mean, sure. I mean, yeah. It's tiling. But seriously, I like to tile like my terminals, but in KDE, I can do this. Like, if I load up console, for example, I can do split screens. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's not hard to do that also on KDE. This is a KDE application. So if I just close this, so I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to go back to KDE, show you an example. So yeah, this looks cool. This is pretty cool desktop. I like it, but I still prefer KDE. Anyways, I'm going to stop the video and I will log into KDE and show you guys that. That doesn't work, doesn't it? All right. Okay, so now I am in back on my KDE desktop, which I prefer more. But you know, I can just tile, you know, a bunch of, you know, I can tile a lot of, if I want to do what you do on tile window managers, you can do the same thing on KDE. Okay? You can do tiling on KDE like this. I know it's not automatic and fast, but there's ways you can do tiling on here as well. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I just think people, they like to make a big fuss about things for nothing. I like KDE a lot better because I just think it's an easier desktop to work around with, and it's a lot easier to configure. And yeah, things don't have to be overcomplicated, right? Like, you don't have to like overcomplicate things. Yes, like, it does take a little bit of knowledge to basically, you know, configure, you know, a tile window manager. Like, you gotta know how to configure it. I do like Hyprland though. I think it's pretty easier compared to Awesome WM, because even DWM, like, I find like configuring Hyprland is very simple. And once you do a change inside the hyprland.conf file and you save it, it automatically changes it like instantly, like as soon as you save it, which is really cool. A lot of other window managers, like tile window managers, you have to like with DWM, you got to recompile the, you know, the config.h file or whatever. You got to recompile it, the C program, and then you can reload the system. And also with Awesome, is you could do a reconfiguration or something. I forgot how Awesome works. I think it's kind of similar how you do things like OpenBox. You just reconfigure the window manager, like you can restart the window manager, and it'll just reload the configuration file. But Hyprland, it basically, what it does, it just instantly like loads up the configuration. Now I know people are gonna be like, how you configure your you know, your screen fetch like that. This is called capnip. Okay, so if you guys wondering what program I'm using, it's capnip. Now if you load up the configuration file from capnip in .config/catnip, you'll see a configuration file, and inside that configuration file, it'll show an example how to put a picture into like how you see it in the console. So what I do, I use a picture by 500 by 500, or I just kind of like, you know, find a picture size, that size, and I just kind of change it, and I just kind of align the status alongside the picture. So it takes a little bit of configuration. I also got Tokyo Night color scheme for KDE terminal. So if you guys are wondering, if you guys want Tokyo Night KDE terminal color scheme, I can actually upload that file and share that. But the whole configuration I've done with this terminal, it's quite a lot. It's actually it took me a while to figure all this out, but it's pretty cool. Anyways, that was just my video. Just showing you, like, KDE can do tiling as well if you want to tile things. I know it's not like your regular tile window manager, but still, I mean, I like KDE because I just think it's very simplistic, and it works really well. I mean, yeah, I know I use NVIDIA GPU, and I know, like, yeah, my Steam shit flickers and it's glitchy, and same as my Discord, it flickers a lot as well. But what I gotta say, man, it's still works pretty good, and I quite like it. And Hyprland's pretty cool too. Don't get me wrong, but there's things in Hyprland that I just don't like. Why I don't like Hyprland? Well, I rather like I don't know, like, I hadn't figured it out yet. Like, I want to if I can just make everything float instead of instead of having everything like everything tiling, I'd rather just have everything floating. Maybe that's possible. Maybe there's a configuration how I can do that. I don't even have that theme. But well, there is float class floating. Windows rule 2, I see. So, I probably don't need this. I don't really see, where's window rule? Window rule equals float. I see. Huh. Not sure about the floating thing, like this I don't need. This I don't need as well because I got C to close applications. This I don't want full screen, so I can probably just use M instead. That's probably why it was not launching. I have F4, my file manager. I have a few things sorted out here, but not much. But anyways, yeah, I like Hyprland, but I just prefer KDE more. But I do use Hyprland. I do use a Tile Window Manager on my Arch Linux system, as I am an Arch Linux user. But I still prefer KDE. Well, one thing I hate about Hyprland is that there's no desktop icons. So that kind of pisses me off. That's one thing I don't like about OpenBox. By OpenBox, you can use LXDE, which you can, you can use PCMan FM and just basically load the desktop and still have the OpenBox menu and have the desktop with icons on the background. So technically, you can put icons on OpenBox system with a desktop environment like LXDE or LXQT. You can use OpenBox as the window manager and have the desktop environment stuff, and you can also have icons on the desktop icons, and have wallpaper and all that stuff. Also, taking screenshots on Hyprland is not fun. I know how to do it, but I find it's like there's no like KDE Spectacle or GNOME screenshot or XFC screenshot. None of those work on Hyprland. Probably because of the kind of system it is, like with the WLAN and stuff. It probably why it doesn't work. You need like special programs, just like you need WAVBAR. Well, there's other there's other panel bars for WLAN, but I find WAVBAR is probably the best. I consider it the best. But anyway, this is my video, and yeah, I do like Hyprland, but like I'm basically gonna stick with KDE because I just think KDE is a lot better. Who knows? I might go back to Hyprland in the future. You never know. But as of right now, I do like KDE a lot. Anyways, thanks for watching. Cheers. Oops.